The door creaked open like a gunshot in the quiet house. And there he was, my stepson Billy, sprawled on his bed, hand frozen in a guilty grip, the glow of his laptop screen painting his flushed face in blue betrayal. "Dad, shit. Albert. I didn't," he stammered, yanking the blanket up like it could erase the last 10 seconds, his voice cracking on the edge of a sob that hit me harder than any punch. In that heartbeat, with the laundry basket slipping from my numb fingers and thumping to the floor, I saw not just the boy I'd raised these last 5 years, but the man he was clawing to become, terrified and alone in a world that chewed up secrets like his. I froze there in the doorway of his room, the air thick with the scent of teenage rebellion, faded cologne, crumpled chip bags, and something sharper, more intimate, that twisted my gut like a knife. Billy's eyes, those wide hazel pools I'd watched shift from sullen kid to brooding young adult, locked onto mine, pleading for mercy he didn't know how to ask for. 5 years ago, when I married his mom Elena, he was just a scrawny 15-year-old with a chip on his shoulder bigger than the Rockies, resenting me for stealing her away from the wreckage of his bio-dad's booze-soaked abandonment. Now, 20, he was all lean muscle from late-night gym sessions and that restless energy that kept him pacing the creaky floors of our split-level ranch in suburban Denver. And here I was, Albert Hayes, 46, ex-Marine turned high school history teacher, invading his sanctuary like some overbearing sitcom dad. "Easy, kid," I said, my voice coming out rougher than I meant, like gravel under boots. I bent slow to scoop up the socks, buying time to steady the hammer in my chest. Billy had always been the quiet storm in our little family, Elena's wild card, the one who'd inherited her artist's soul but none of her easy charm. She'd passed 2 years back, ovarian cancer that ate her from the inside out faster than we could fight it, leaving me and Billy rattling around this house like ghosts in a snow globe. We'd muddled through, him burying himself in community college classes on graphic design, me grading papers on the American Revolution while sneaking glances at his door, wondering if he hated me as much as he used to. He slammed the laptop shut, the snap echoing like a judge's gavel. "You weren't supposed to see that. Fuck. Just get out. Okay. Pretend it didn't happen." His words were a whip, but his shoulders slumped, defeated, and I caught the tremble in his hands as he shoved the blanket higher. On the screen, before it winked black, I'd glimpsed enough. 2 guys tangled in a kiss that looked more like salvation than sin, the kind of raw hunger that hits you when you're young and the world's still a blank canvas. I didn't move. Couldn't. Because in that frozen frame, I saw my own ghosts flickering back, nights in the barracks overseas, stolen touches with a squad mate named Reyes under the cover of Desert Stars, the shame that followed like shrapnel. I'd buried it deep when I came home, married Elena because she made me laugh and feel steady, built this life to prove I was the good guy, the straight arrow stepdad. But Billy, he was unraveling the seams I'd stitched so tight. "Billy," I said, stepping inside, closing the door soft behind me like we were sealing a pact. "I'm not here to judge. Hell, I've got my own skeletons." He flinched, eyes darting to the window where the first fat drops of an autumn storm splattered the glass. Denver weather, always dramatic, sun 1 minute, monsoon the next. Fitting for us. He laughed, bitter and wet. "Skeletons? Yeah, right. You're Mr. Perfect coaching little league, barbecuing ribs like it's the 4th of July every Sunday. What? You catch me whacking off to gay porn, and suddenly we're bonding over your repressed Catholic guilt." The venom was armor, but it cracked when he met my gaze, and I saw the kid who'd cried in my arms at Elena's funeral, whispering that he couldn't do this without her. I sat on the edge of his bed, the mattress dipping under my weight, close enough to feel the heat rolling off him. Not repressed, just hidden. Back in the core, there was this guy. We didn't have words for it then, but it was real. Scared the shit out of me, so I ran from it. Came home, met your mom, tried to be the man everyone expected. My throat tightened, words I'd never said aloud spilling like rain. But seeing you like this, hiding, hurting, it guts me, son. You're not alone in this house. Billy's breath hitched, his fingers twisting the blanket into knots. For a long beat, the storm outside picked up, wind rattling the gutters, and inside, something shifted, a bridge forming over the chasm we both pretended wasn't there. He swallowed hard, voice barely above the thunder. It feels like drowning, Albert. Like everyone's watching, waiting for me to fuck up. Mom knew before I did, but now, it's just me, jerking off to pixels because touching a real guy would mean admitting I'm broken. You're not broken, I growled, reaching out before I could stop myself, my hand covering his on the blanket. Rough calluses against his smooth skin, a spark jumping like live wire. He didn't pull away. You're waking up. And if you let me, I'll help you through it. No more secrets. Not between us. That night, after the rain had pounded the roof into silence, we talked till the clock ticked past 2. Not about the video, not really, just stories. His first crush on the soccer captain in high school, the way it burned like fever. My fumbling kisses in Fallujah, the ache of goodbye letters never sent. By dawn, with coffee brewing black and strong in the kitchen, Billy looked at me different, grateful, wary, like I was the first safe harbor in a lifetime of storms. Little did I know, that harbor was about to crack wide open. The next morning broke crisp and golden over the Front Range, the kind of Colorado autumn day that tricks you into forgetting winter's bite. Billy shuffled into the kitchen in his ratty Broncos hoodie, hair a mess that screamed all-nighter, but there was a looseness in his step, like he'd shed a layer of invisible chains. I slid him a mug of Joe Black, 2 sugars, just how he liked, and watched him inhale it, the steam curling up like unspoken thanks. Class today? I asked, casual as flipping pancakes, though my gut was still churning from last night. Teaching AP history at East High meant facing a room of hormone-fueled teens every day, kids not much younger than him, and suddenly every sideways glance felt loaded. He nodded, scrolling his phone with one thumb. Intro to digital media. Professor's a dick. Thinks Photoshop's the second coming. A pause. Then quieter. Thanks for. You know. Not freaking out. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed to hide the tremor in my hands. Freaking out's for amateurs. We're hazes we bulldoze through. It was Elena's line, her way of stealing us for bad news, and saying it aloud stung like whiskey on a cut. Billy's eyes softened, and for a second, I thought he might hug me. Instead, he bumped my shoulder with his, a broic knowledge that hit warmer than any embrace. That bump lingered in my head all day, replaying like a glitchy reel as I droned on about the Stonewall riots to a class half asleep on their desks. Irony, thy name is Albert. Here I was, unpacking history's queer underbelly for these straight-laced Coloradans, while my own house hid a live wire. By the time I got home, Billy was at the kitchen table, laptop open, not to porn, thank Christ, but to some indie film forum. Threads buzzing about coming out flicks that don't suck. Research, he said without looking up, cheeks pinking when I raised a brow. Figured if I'm doing this, might as well do it right. I ruffled his hair, old habit from when he was shorter, and he swatted me away with a grin that lit the room. Dinner was burgers on the grill, grease popping under the October chill, and we ate on the back porch, feet up on the railing, trading barbs about my lame dad jokes and his hipster bullshit. Felt normal. Too normal. Like the elephant in the room had shrunk to lapdog size, wagging its tail instead of trumpeting. But normal cracked that Friday. Billy came home late from a study group, smelling like weed and cheap beer, eyes glassy but not gone. Met this guy, he blurted as I handed him a Gatorade, our ritual for his occasional slips. Jace. From the art department. He's like rainbow flag on his Jetta out. My stomach did a slow roll. Pride? Or punchline waiting to land? Yeah? He cool. Billy deflated onto the couch, knees bouncing. Told him about last night. About you walking in. He laughed, said it's classic stepdad horror story material. Then he kissed me. In the parking lot. Like it was nothing. The words hung heavy, and I forced a nod, throat tight. That's progress, right? First step on the yellow brick road to Oz. He shot me a look, half amused, half hurt. It's terrifying. What if it's all a phase? What if I kiss him and it's just awkward? Or what if mom's up there watching, thinking I'm betraying her memory by chasing dick? Elena's ghost again, always hovering. She'd been the glue, her laugh echoing in these walls, her sketches pinned to the fridge like talismans. Your mom wanted you happy, Billy. Not straight happy. She'd have baked Jace a pie and grilled him on his intentions. He snorted, but tears welled, spilling over as he scrubbed his face. I pulled him into a hug then, no hesitation, his head tucking under my chin like when he was small. He was solid now, warm and trembling, and as his arms wrapped around my waist, something shifted, innocent comfort twisting into a current I didn't dare name. His breath hitched against my neck, and for one reckless second, I imagined leaning down, brushing lips against his temple. But I pulled back, clearing my throat. Go crash. We'll figure the rest tomorrow. That night, sleep dodged me like a greased pig. I tossed in the master bed, Elena's side still concave from absence, replaying the hug, the way Billy's body fit against mine like a missing puzzle piece. Marines don't do vulnerability, we compartmentalize. But this was a minefield, and I was tap dancing blind. Saturday dawned with Jace's Jetta rumbling into the driveway, rainbow sticker glinting like a dare. Billy bounded out to meet him. Tall kid, lanky with a mop of blonde curls and a smile that screamed privilege. They hugged easy, Jace's hand lingering on Billy's back, and I watched from the kitchen window, coffee turning bitter in my mug. Jealousy? Protective instinct? Or something uglier? Forbidden? Stepdad Albert. Right? Jace said later, shaking my hand firm as we shot hoops in the driveway. Billy hung back, lobbing half-hearted threes, his eyes flicking between us like he was waiting for the fuse to light. Jace was smooth, talked queer theory like it was small talk, dropped names of Denver's underground scene I'd only read about in the Post. Billy says you're cool. Rare for us newbies. I dunked one over him, masking the churn. Just trying not to screw it up. Kid's been through hell. Jace nodded, wiping sweat. Aren't we all? Hey, there's this party tonight, Pride pregame at a warehouse in Rhino. You in? Billy? Albert. Billy's grin was electric. Hell yeah, I begged off, grating to do, but as they peeled out, bass thumping from the speakers, a hollow ache settled in my chest. Alone in the house, I cracked a beer, scrolled my own hidden history, old photos from the sandbox days of my youth, before the core straightened me out. Reyes's face stared back, smirking from a faded barracks shot, and I wondered if Billy's fire would consume him like mine nearly did me. By midnight, my phone buzzed. Billy, slurring a voicemail. Albert? Good. Jace is sweet, but I keep thinking 'bout home. 'Bout you. Pick me up. Heart slamming. I grabbed keys, navigating the neon-veined streets of River North, the warehouse pulsing like a fever dream. I found him outside, slumped against a graffiti wall, Jace nowhere in sight. Where's your prince? I asked, opening the passenger door. Billy slid in, reeking of smoke and regret. Ditched me inside. Said I was too vanilla after I froze during. You know. Too much. Too fast. His laugh was shattered glass. Told you it'd be awkward. I gripped the wheel. Jaw set. His loss. Kid. You're gold. Don't let some hipster tell you otherwise. He turned, eyes searching mine in the dashboard glow. Why do you get me? Like, really get me? Most guys would bail. Because I've been there, I murmured, pulling onto I-25, the city lights blurring past. Chasing shadows, hoping they'd fill the hole. But you don't need shadows, Billy. You've got light. Silence stretched, thick as the mile markers. Then, soft, stay with me tonight? Just talk. Like before, I nodded, though my pulse thundered warnings. Back home, we crashed in the living room, him on the couch, me in the armchair, a bowl of popcorn between us like a chaperone. But words turned to whispers, stories to silences, and when his hand brushed mine reaching for kernels, neither pulled away. Fingers laced tentative, electric, and in that touch, the line we'd towed blurred to nothing. The weeks that followed were a tightrope walk over a canyon of denial. Billy and I fell into a rhythm, mornings with coffee and banter, evenings dissecting his latest sketches or my dusty war tales, always skirting the edge of that popcorn night lace of fingers. He'd aced a project on queer icons in pop art, beaming when I pinned it to the fridge next to Elena's old Polaroids. See? Progress, he'd say, and I'd ruffle his hair, ignoring how his laugh sent sparks down my spine. Jace faded fast. A couple awkward texts. Then radio silence. Billy shrugged it off, but I saw the bruise in his eyes, the way he'd linger in doorways, craving connection. Denver's gay scene beckoned like a siren's call, apps pinging on his phone, invites to coffee meetups, but he stuck close, claiming homework. Or was it me? The question gnawed, but I shoved it down, focusing on the man he was becoming, confident in his skin, sketching figures that danced with fluid grace. No more hiding. Thanksgiving loomed, our first without Elena's turkey disasters or her insistence on canned cranberry sauce. We doing this? Billy asked over takeout lo mein, chopsticks poised like swords. Hell yes, I said. But we're doing it our way, no pilgrims. Just pie and football. He grinned. And we planned. pumpkin from scratch, Broncos game on the big screen. Maybe invite my buddy Marco from the VFW, the only soul who knew about Reyes without me spelling it out. The holiday hit like a fever dream. Snow dusted the Rockies, blanketing our yard in hush, and the house smelled of cinnamon and yeast. Marco showed with a six-pack and stories that had Billy howling, tales of my boot camp blunders, the time I face-planted during a drill. AL's always been the softy, Marco winked, clapping my back. Heart bigger than his head. Billy watched us, quiet, then pulled me aside while Marco dozed post-pie. He's right, you know. You're everything. His voice cracked, hazel eyes stormy. Before I could deflect, he hugged me, fierce, lingering, his cheek brushing my jaw. Heat bloomed low, forbidden, and I stepped back, muttering about dishes. That night, after Marco left and the fire crackled low, Billy knocked on my bedroom door. Can't sleep. Storms rattling the windows, thunder rumbled distant, but it was his eyes that stormed, vulnerable, searching. Come on, I sighed, scooting over in the king bed, Elena's side still a ghost. He slid in fully clothed, back to me, but tension hummed like a live wire. We lay there, breaths sinking, and when he shifted, his hand found mine under the covers, intentional this time, palm pressing warm. Albert, whisper soft. Is this okay? My heart jackhammered. Billy. We're family. Not by blood. He rolled to face me, shadow-draped features earnest. And it's not just gratitude. You. The way you see me. No one's ever. I silenced him with a finger to his lips, pulse roaring. Slow down, kid. This road's got potholes a mile deep, but I didn't let go. We talked till gray light seeped in. His fears of rejection, my buried what-ifs with Reyes, the ache of loving Elena while half of me wandered lost. By dawn, hands still clasped, the air between us charged with unspoken promise. Monday brought reality's slap. At school, whispers hit like shrapnel. A colleague, Tom the gym coach, cornered me in the staff lounge. Heard your boy's been hanging at those rhino clubs. You know what kind of crowd that is? His tone dripped concern, but his eyes narrowed, old school macho masking judgment. I bristled. My boy's navigating his life. Worry about your own roster. Tom chuckled, low and ugly. Just saying small town. Oh. Denver's big, but word travels. Don't want it rubbing off. Rage boiled, but I swallowed it, clocking out early to pick Billy up from campus. He piled in, chattering about a group project. Oblivious. But that night, over meatloaf, Elena's recipe, lumpy but loved, the dam cracked. Tom called today, I said, fork scraping plate. Subtle as a sledgehammer about your hobbies. Billy's fork clattered. Hobbies? Fuck him. He's just pissed his star quarterback's got a poster of Harry Styles in his locker. We laughed, but it died quick. People talk, son. And when they do, I trailed off, the weight of it settling. He reached across the table, squeezing my forearm. Then we talk louder. Together, that together echoed through December, our bubble tightening against the winter chill. We strung lights on the ranch's sagging eaves, Billy teasing my knot-tying skills while I mocked his Spotify holiday playlist. Too much Ariana, not enough Bing Crosby. One night, ice storm locking us in, We binge-watched old rom-coms, his head on my shoulder by the third flick. When Love Actually hit its airport reunion, he turned, lips brushing my neck, accidental on purpose. Albert. What if it's you? Time fractured. I cupped his face, thumb tracing his jaw, stubble soft, eyes liquid fire. Billy, I'm old enough to be. Shut up, he murmured, closing the gap. The kiss was tentative, then torrent salt and need, his hands fisting my shirt, mine tangling in his hair. Tasted of risk, of homecoming, and for those stolen minutes on the couch. The world narrowed to us, stepfather and stepson, rewriting the rules in whispers and gasps. We broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed. This changes everything, I rasped. Good, he whispered back. Finally, but change came with claws. Christmas Eve. Billy's phone lit up, a text from Jace. Heard you're playing house with Daddy. Kinky. Watch your back. I'm telling, my blood iced. Betrayal. Sharp as a bayonet. Billy paled, deleting it frantic. Ignore him. He's bitter, but the seed was planted. Whispers at my school intensified. Glances in the halls. A parent's email concerned about influences. Billy withdrew. Sketches turning dark. And our stolen kisses turned frantic, laced with fear. We're okay, I'd murmur against his skin, but doubt crept like frost. New Year's dawned with fireworks over the plains, but our spark dimmed. One night, post-argument about locking the doors, just in case, Billy snapped. You regret this? Me? Never you? I shot back, pulling him close. Just the fallout. He softened, but the fracture lingered. By January's end, the storm we'd brewed broke, not with thunder, but a quiet unraveling. Billy applied to SCAD in Savannah, art school on the coast. To spread wings, I nodded, proud and gutted, helping pack boxes while our touches turned tender. Tentative. Departure day. Airport drop-off under a slate sky. He hugged me fierce. This isn't goodbye. Just see you soon. I nodded, throat locked. Love you, kid. Always. As his flight boarded, I drove home to empty echoes, wondering if I'd helped him understand himself or just taught him to fly away. Savannah swallowed Billy whole, or so it felt from the grainy FaceTime calls. Him grinning amid Spanish moss and cobblestones, dorm room posters of Basquiat and that god-awful indie band he loved. Campus is wild, he'd say, voice tinny over the miles. Guys everywhere, open season. I'd laugh, masking the pang, asking about classes while my thumb traced the screen like I could bridge the distance. Back in Denver, winter dragged skeletal, the house a mausoleum of memories. His forgotten hoodie on the couch hook, Elena's sketchpad gathering dust. Work soured, Tom's jabs sharpened to outright snubs, admin calling me in for a chat about professional boundaries after an anonymous tip. Nothing to it. I lied, but isolation bit deep. Marco dragged me to VFW poker nights, but cards blurred, thoughts drifting south to Billy's laugh, his touch. February brought Valentine's, a solo beer at a dive, toasting ghosts. Then, a text, coming home. Spring break. Miss you, my heart lurched, plotting ribs and road trips like old times. But when he stepped off the plane, duffel slung over one shoulder, something was off, eyes shadowed, smile strained. Bad flight, I asked, hugging him quick in baggage claim, inhaling his scent, citrus shampoo and sea salt. He shrugged. Nah. Just stuff. We drove in loaded silence, Rockies rising like judgment, until he cracked, hooked up with this guy. Theo. Artist type, all tattoos and intensity. Was great fireworks. But after, he ghosted. Said I was too attached, like emotion's a crime. I gripped the wheel tighter. Asshole. You deserve more than fireworks. Steady burn. He glanced over. Vulnerable. Like us, the question hung, and homecoming blurred into reconnection. Unpacking tales over pizza, his hand finding mine on the counter, pulling me into a kiss that tasted of longing and relief. Missed this, he breathed, and we tumbled to my bed, no couch barriers now, exploring with the hunger of separation. His skin under my palms, freckles mapping constellations. My scars bared, stories whispered between gasps. It was revelation, raw and reverent, two men claiming what society denied. But paradise fractured midweek. A knock at dawn, cops on the porch, badges glinting cold. Albert Hayes? Complaint filed. Inappropriate relations with a minor. Billy wasn't a minor, 20 now. But the accusation twisted. Jace's revenge. Texts twisted into lies. Tom's whispers fanning flames. Billy overheard from the stairs. Face ashen. This is my fault. No, I snarled, slamming the door on their questions. It's fear. Bigots protecting their fragile world. The investigation dragged, interviews. Lawyers on retainers I couldn't afford. Whispers turning to shouts in the neighborhood Facebook group. Predator in our midst? Billy stood firm, vouching in statements, but doubt seeded. Maybe we pumped the brakes, he said one night, curled away from me. Till it's clear, gutted me. You believe them? No, just scared. For you, spring break ended in teary airport goodbyes, promises to fight. Back alone, the house suffocated. I took leave from school, drowning in bourbon and what-ifs. Marco cornered me at the bar. Spill. Oh. This about the kid. I broke then, confessing in slurred fragments. Billy, the kisses, the cops. Marco listened, then gripped my shoulder. Love's love, brother. But blood, step or not, it's a battlefield. You sure you're not projecting your Reyes shit? His words landed like mortar. Was I helping Billy understand himself, or molding him into my unfinished story? Doubt festered. Calls to Billy terse, laced with distance. April bloomed cruel. His text slowed. Excuses piling. Finals. Flings. Then, a call. Theo's back. Wants to try again. Says we clicked. My world tilted. And you. A pause. Ocean waves crashing faint. I love you, Albert. But this us, it's heavy. Theo's. Light. Betrayal. Not from Jace, but Billy choosing escape over the mess we'd made. Go then, I choked. Find your light. He hung up sobbing, but the line stayed dead. Days blurred to weeks. I sold the house, packed Elena's ashes for a scatter in the mountains, drove aimless through Utah's red rock canyons seeking absolution. Reyes's ghost rode shotgun, whispering of roads not taken. May. A postcard arrived. Savannah skyline. Billy's scrawl. I'm sorry. Learning me means learning limits. You're my anchor always. Forgive. Enclosed. A sketch. Us on the porch, intertwined, labeled home. Tears blurred the ink. Forgiveness or fracture? I folded it away, engine rumbling toward whatever horizon called. Summer scorched the plains, turning Denver to a skillet, but I was already ash. The house sold quick, too many ghosts for buyers' tastes, and I crashed at Marco's spare room. Boxing days with odd jobs, hauling lumber for a buddy's Reno, coaching summer league when no one else would touch that Hayes guy. Whispers followed, but the kids didn't care. They dribbled fierce, asking about Billy like he was LeBron's secret brother. His calls resumed sporadic, voice brighter, laced with Theo's anecdotes, gallery openings, beach bonfires. "It's good," he'd say, and I'd hum agreement, swallowing shards. The sketch stayed pinned to my fridge in Marco's kitchen, a talisman of what-ifs. "Come visit," he'd urge. Savannah's magic this time of year. I demurred, sighting clearing my head. Truth, fear. Of seeing him with Theo, of the pull still humming under my skin. Instead, I hiked the trails Elena loved, Chautauqua's switchbacks, flatirons clawing sky, scattering her ashes in granite crevices, whispering apologies for the man I'd become. Labor Day loomed, Billy's sophomore year beckoning, when the call came, not from him, but campus security. Accident. Fall from a balcony. He's stable, but come quick. The world tunneled. I threw clothes in a bag, Marco driving me to DIA, his hand steady on the gearshift. Kids tough, like his old man. Flight to Atlanta, then Savannah's humidity slap, moss-draped live oaks mocking my panic. Hospital corridors reeked of bleach and despair. Billy's room a sterile cave under fluorescent buzz. He lay pale, leg in a cast, bruises blooming like ink on his jaw, but eyes, those hazel storms, lit when I burst in. "Albert," whisper, hand reaching. I took it, collapsing into the chair, the other fumbling his hair. "What the hell happened?" Voice wrecked. "Theo," bitter laugh, wince. "Party. Too much tequila, too many lines. He got jealous. Some bullshit about me texting you. Pushed me, balcony railing gave. Fractured tibia, ego in shards. Rage boiled, but Theo hovered in the corner. Tattoos faded under worry, eyes red-rimmed. My fault. Save it, I growled, turning back to Billy. "You okay?" He squeezed my hand. "Hurts. But clear now." Theo's fire. "Yeah, but it burns out fast." Your hearth. Steady. Theo slunk out after, mumbling promises, but Billy's gaze held mine. Apology raw. I ran. From the mess. From us. Thought light meant easy. But it's not you. Words I'd craved. Too late. Doesn't matter. You're here. That's enough. Recovery dragged. Wheelchair rides through Forsyth Park's fountains. Me pushing while he sketched magnolias. Our talks peeling layers. His guilt over Jace's poison. My shame at pushing boundaries. "I wanted to help you see yourself," I confessed one dusk. Spanish moss swaying like judgment. "But maybe I was blind to mine." He wheeled to face me, fingers lacing mine. "You did. Showed me love's not straight lines. It's messy, real. Like America, flawed, fighting for better." Fall semester started sidelined. Billy crashing my motel room, cramped but ours. Theo vanished for good. A ghost story. We navigated slow, physical therapy kisses, tentative futures. Stay? He asked one night, cast propped, stars pricking the blinds. Try stopping me. I kissed his temple, heart mending. By October, cast off, he walked, limp fading, spirit soaring. We drove north, scattering remaining ashes in the Smokies, Elena's laugh in the wind. Back in Denver, I rented a loft downtown, fresh start, walls for his art, bed for us. No stepfather-stepson labels, just Albert and Billy, partners in the quiet revolution of being. Winter brought snow again, but this time, we shoveled together, breaths fogging in tandem. New Year's, fireworks over the city, his head on my shoulder. To understanding ourselves, each other, I pulled him close. To home, and in that embrace, betrayal scars faded, conflict yielding to grace. Not perfect, America's not, neither are we, but human, heartfelt, a story worth the telling.